saw stars, and I passed out. And when I came to, he's on top of me, banging my head up against the, kitchen floor, and he's strangling me.
I was trying to get away, and he grabbed me, spun me around, started to choke me, and brought me down to the ground. And at the same time he was trying to choke me, he was trying to hit my head on one of the rocks.
He woke up and immediately started choking me and put me up against the wall, and I fell and I urinated on myself, and then right after I hit him, he let go from choking me and he started repeatedly punching me to the floor.
He had threatened me that if I was to call the police, that I would be the one going to jail. Other times he would threaten my life.
He choked me millions of times. We have a butcher knife, and he put it up to my neck right here and told me not to breathe.
Well, for many years we didn't realize what strangulation was. We would see it over and over in police reports. We would hear victims say over and over, choking, choking, choking. He grabbed me, he choked me. Didn't mean anything to us. And we certainly didn't understand how lethal it was. But as we started to get into it and started to deal with the medical experts and put them on a witness stand and started hearing the actual accounting of what was going on, and then had research to back it up, we found out that choking wasn't down here. Choking was right here, and a homicide was right here. And suddenly, choking is strangulation, and now we realize if you're at strangulation, you're at death. You're right on the edge of murder. If you're going to do strangulation cases, you should be foaming at the mouth in a courtroom when it comes to this crime. You should be so outraged and so upset and so angry about how this serious, felonious criminal has gotten away with attempted murder over and over, perhaps, in that relationship. Because if you're not that way, nobody else will be.
You are now watching our second training titled Strangulation, What We Have Learned. In our first training, we captured the pioneering study and work from our colleagues in San Diego. That work was inspired by the tragic deaths of two teenagers who died in 1995 as a result of domestic violence. We honor the memories of Cassandra Stewart and Tamara Smith by developing a training for domestic violence professionals to improve their response to what was commonly referred to as choking cases. Sadly, it took the deaths of Cassandra and Tamara to realize that we were not dealing with choking cases, but rather near-fatal strangulation cases. As a result of that pioneering work, training on strangulation has been developed and is now being included as part of core criminal justice training in most jurisdictions. More than 26 states have passed felony strangulation laws. In this training, you will learn from the national and international experts in the field: Casey Gwynn, Gail Strack, Dr. Dean Hawley, Dr. Ellen Tolliver, Detective Mike Agnew, and Rhonda Martinson. Our experts will share what they have learned about strangulation since 1995, including basic anatomy, signs and symptoms of strangulation, and how to investigate, document, and prosecute attempted strangulation cases in order to make them a provable felony. You will also learn why it is so important not to minimize strangulation cases, how to advocate for victims, and how to implement a coordinated response around this deadly crime. You will also hear from the most important experts in the field, the survivors. In many trainings, while it is critical to understand the medical and legal terminology, we sometimes forget that behind the words are people. People like you, people like me, our friends, our neighbors, co-workers, and family members. They are our sons and our daughters. We want to illustrate the theoretical with the actual. That way, when you learn about concepts associated with strangulation, Your understanding is anchored by the true story of a survivor.
The very first time that he was violent with me, he strangled me. He pushed me up against a wall and held his hand to my throat and had me pinned against the wall with actually my feet off the floor. At that moment, I really thought he was going to kill me.
The take-home message is that what we do matters and it saves lives, because victims are counting on us to make the system work better, to be educated, to understand what she's going through, and to be the voices of the victim. Because the victim is not going to go into the court and be her own prosecutor. She's not going to be going into the court making her full, eloquent closing argument, because she may not even be in the court. She may be dead, or she may be too afraid to come in. But what we need to do is make the courtroom matter. We need to make the courtroom keep its promise, and that's where victims get justice. So this is about accountability, this is about keeping victims safe, and it's about doing our job with passion and enthusiasm and commitment.